Militaries worldwide have used or are using various psychoactive drugs to improve performance of soldiers. By suppressing hunger, increasing the ability to sustain efforts without food, increasing and lengthening wakefulness and concentration, suppressing fear, reducing empathy, and improving reflexes and memory recall, amongst other things. During the Second World War, Nazi troops were liberally supplied with a methamphetamine called Pervitin, while American and British soldiers stayed alert with the help of amphetamine Benzedrine. Soldiers who took these drugs were pushed beyond the limits of their normal capabilities. But before these drugs could be handed to soldiers, they had to be tested on human subjects, who were not volunteers at most cases, but rather they were forced to. And what a better story to approach the matter rather than the story of the Russian sleep experiment. One of the most debated, but yet creepy stories. If you don't know the Russian sleep experiment, what we are about to tell you will blow your mind. Before we start, make sure to subscribe and hit that bell to receive our latest notifications. The story of the ruthless Russian experiment turning people into zombie-like creatures has been terrifying people for more than 10 years already, and shows no signs of stopping. As the legend has it, the story recounts an experiment set in the late 1940s in a Soviet test facility, when the Second World War was over, but Joseph Stalin still remained all-powerful. On a well-guarded secret base, a research group conducted a cruel experiment on 5 Gulag prisoners. They were promised freedom in the event if they can last 30 days in a chamber filled with psychotropic gas depriving them of sleep. For the first few days, everything seemed fine. The prisoners were talking to each other in a normal way. Nothing seemed suspicious. At that time, the Russians were thinking that they had just developed a drug that will make the Nazi and American-British drug look like a headache pill. But after the 5th day, things started to take a different path. They started talking about the horrible things they witnessed during the war and their traumas. They slowly began to exhibit signs of stress. They became paranoid and soon stopped talking to one another, choosing instead to whisper compromising information about one another into the microphones, apparently in an effort to win the favor of the researchers. This was just the beginning. From now on, it only gets creepier. On the 9th day, one subject started screaming at the top of his lungs for hours to end. Another prisoner just started running around the chamber. The other captives, meanwhile, took the books apart. They smeared page after page from books they'd been given to read, and passed them calmly over the glass portholes to prevent the researchers from seeing what's inside. Soon after, the screaming stopped. After 3 more days passed, as the chamber became dead quiet, the researchers checked the microphones hourly to make sure they were working, since they thought it's impossible that no sound could be coming with 5 people inside. The oxygen consumption in the chamber indicated that all 5 must be still alive. A few days passed without the researchers being able to look inside, during which the chamber was completely silent. Fearing the worst, researchers addressed the subjects via the intercom. "We are opening the chamber to test the microphone," they said. "Step away from the door and lie flat on the floor or you will be shot. Compliance will earn one of you immediate freedom." A voice from the inside whispered, "We no longer want to be freed." Couple more days passed without any contact with the prisoners as the scientists debated what to do next. Eventually, they decided to stop the experiment at the night of the 15th day. The stimulant gas was flushed from the chamber and replaced with fresh air in preparation for the subject's release. Far from being satisfied with how the experiment turned, the subjects began hysterically screaming as if in fear for their lives. They begged to have the gas back on, but instead, the researchers sent armed soldiers inside to retrieve them. But what they found inside was beyond their imagination. One of the subjects was found dead laying down on his blood. Pieces of his flesh had been torn off. All of the other test subjects were found to have been severely injured and severely mutilated. More shockingly, the wounds appeared to be self-inflicted, and some had even eaten their own flesh. The 4 who were still alive seemed terrified of falling asleep. and refused to leave the chamber. They fought back against the soldiers so ferociously even though they lost so much blood. One continued flailing for a full 3 minutes until his lifeless body collapsed, murdering one soldier and severely injuring another that attempted to remove them. After eventually being removed from the chamber, all subjects were shown to exhibit extreme strength, unprecedented resistance to drug and sedatives, the ability to remain alive despite lethal injuries, and a desperate desire to stay awake and be given the stimulant. It was also found that if any one of the subjects fell asleep, they would die. After being treated for their severe injuries in a medical facility, the surviving 3 subjects were prepared to return to the gas chamber with the stimulants by the orders of the military officials. Though against the will of the researchers, before the chamber was sealed, one of the subjects fell asleep and died. The military commander ordered for the 3 other researchers to be closed inside the chamber as well. One researcher immediately drew his gun and shot the commander, then turned the gun on the mute subject and shot him as well. With only one surviving subject, the terrified researcher explained that he would not allow himself to be locked in a room with monsters that could no longer be called people. He desperately asked what the subject was. The subject smiled. "Have you forgotten so easily?" the subject asked. "We are you. We are the madness that lurks within you all. Begin to be free at every moment in your deepest animal mind. We are what you hide from in your beds every night. We are what you sedate into silence and paralysis when you go to the nocturnal haven where we cannot tread." The researcher paused, then aimed at the subject's heart and fired. The subject weakly choked out, "So, nearly free." You must be wondering by now, what the heck did I just read? Well, okay, first things first. The story didn't actually take place in real life. It's a completely fictional story. This Russian sleep experiment is a 10 years old urban legend. Its origins trace back to the Creepypasta website, but the original story is even older. Written for an online forum challenging users to make up the scariest urban legend. The story couldn't be true for so many reasons. First of all, why would the scientists let the subject hide in their chamber for several days without observation? No gas that can stop humans from falling asleep is currently known to science. If you tear away your skin and remove your organs, you die from blood loss. The Pentagon has even done studies on this, and even if men are forced to stay awake for more than 48 hours, they will become pretty slow and pretty much useless as soldiers. They'll make tons of mistakes, which is not ideal in war when you have to be constantly alert. The Russian sleep experiment is the most viral creepypasta story on the internet, with a total of 64,000 shares. It used 4 ingredients: an unexplained phenomenon, murder, monsters, in this case human-turned zombies, and a series of creepy images of poor black and white quality to suggest they authentically match the time period. Well, just shut down your device now and walk away. These stories alone are creepy enough to keep us up for 2 weeks straight. No experimental gas required. If you liked the video, please subscribe to our channel and hit that bell button to receive our latest notifications.